If a woman asks this, she's been thinking about you romantically. Attraction psychology facts, psychology tricks. Love doesn't just sit there like a stone, it has to be made, like bread, remade all the time. Ursula K. Le Guin. Let me share something that completely changed how I understand men and how women show attraction. The most important questions rarely sound important. In fact, they often feel casual, almost random. When a woman has been thinking about you romantically, she usually doesn't ask the obvious things. She doesn't ask, "Are you single?" She doesn't ask, "What kind of relationship are you looking for?" Not because she doesn't care, but because she's doing something much more subtle. Instead, she asks questions that seem harmless on the surface, but each one is a quiet test, a small window into who you really are. She's slowly mapping your inner world, how you think, what you value, how you handle pressure, how you talk about your past, and how you imagine your future. Why? Because in her mind, she's already begun to picture herself inside that world. She's wondering where she might fit. I can say this honestly, I've been that woman. I've asked those just curious questions while pretending they meant nothing, when in reality, my heart was listening far more closely than my words suggested. And here's the key. Once you recognize this pattern, you'll see it every time. You'll realize that some questions aren't about gathering information at all. They're about discovering whether there's space for her in your life. 1. What you were like before she knew you. She asks what you were like before she knew you. And notice the timing. You're in the middle of a completely unrelated conversation. Maybe you're talking about work, maybe a random trip, something ordinary. Then she interrupts. She asks what you were like 5 years ago, or back in college, or before you moved to this city. That moment matters more than the question itself. Most men answer on autopilot. They list facts, jobs, hobbies, old routines, haircuts, places they lived. They think she's asking about history. She's not even close. She isn't collecting data. She's mapping meaning. And this is where understanding female psychology changes everything. When she asks about the version of you she never met, she's not trying to fill in blanks. She's trying to place herself into a longer emotional timeline. You must understand this clearly. She's not curious about who you were. She's curious about how that man became the one standing in front of her now. And even more importantly, she's wondering whether that journey feels like something she wants to be part of going forward. So don't answer like you're filling out a form. Don't reduce your past to bullet points. Her mind is already doing something far more intimate. She's retroactively extending the relationship backward, quietly, subtly. She's imagining moments that happened before her, not with jealousy, with connection. Because attraction often works in reverse like this. First the feeling, then the story. When a woman asks this kind of question, it's one of those quiet psychology tricks that reveals her interest has moved beyond the present moment. She's testing depth, continuity, emotional texture. This is how to fall in love without realizing it's happening. Because the moment she starts caring about your arc instead of your snapshot, she's no longer thinking casually. She's thinking narratively. And narratives are where attachment lives. Be careful here. Be intentional. How you answer shapes how she sees not just who you were, but who you are becoming. That matters deeply, especially for men who believe attraction is built only on confidence or status. It's not. Female psychology is often drawn to evolution, to movement, to the sense that a man has lived, learned, adjusted, and grown without losing his core. So when she asks what you were like back then, she's really asking something else. Have you changed? And if so, how? Not because she wants drama, because consistency mixed with growth feels safe and intriguing at the same time. Safety plus intrigue. That combination is powerful. Don't dodge the question. Don't overshare either. Tell the truth with self-awareness. Self-awareness is attractive in ways most men underestimate. Talk about how you thought differently, what you cared about, what you learned the hard way, what surprised you about yourself. Those details signal emotional intelligence without you ever needing to announce it. She's not auditing your past. She's scanning for emotional patterns. Do you repeat mistakes? Do you adapt? Do you reflect? Do you take responsibility? These are the quiet signals that activate attraction over time, not instantly, steadily. That's often how to fall in love in a way that lasts. This is why answering literally misses the point. Facts don't create intimacy, interpretation does. When you frame your past as a journey instead of a resume, you invite her into that journey without forcing anything. That's exactly how psychology tricks work best. Subtle, natural, no pressure. Pressure shuts curiosity down. Openness pulls it closer. Think about why the question feels disarming. It's because it reveals something important. She's already imagining you as more than a momentary presence. She's wondering where you came from because she's subconsciously asking where this could go. That kind of curiosity doesn't come from boredom or politeness. It comes from emotional engagement. So don't dismiss it. Don't joke it away. Don't shrink it down. Recognize it for what it is, a small window into her internal world, shaped by female psychology, guided by imagination. When you respond with honesty, calm confidence, and reflection, you meet her at that level. No chasing, no proving, no performing. That balance is where most men fail, because attraction isn't built by trying harder. It's built by revealing more accurately. Accuracy builds trust. Trust builds comfort. Comfort mixed with curiosity is how to fall in love without either person feeling pushed. So be present, be thoughtful, be real. Because when she asks about who you used to be, she's not standing in the past with you. She's standing in the future, quietly checking to see if there's room for her there. Understanding this is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks in modern dating, one that makes female psychology feel less confusing and far more human. And once you see it clearly, you stop answering the wrong question. You start responding to the real one she's asking, even if she never says it out loud. 2. If you've noticed something different about her, If you've noticed something different about her, pay attention to how it starts. She doesn't make a big announcement. She doesn't sit you down for a serious talk. She slips it into the conversation. She asks if you've noticed something different about her lately. Maybe she says she's been trying something new. Maybe she mentions she's been working out more, or sleeping better, or finally sticking with that thing she kept starting and stopping. Then she pauses, and she asks if you've noticed. That moment looks simple. It isn't. This question hides in plain sight. Most men underestimate it. They hear it as a request for reassurance. They assume she wants a compliment. They think she's asking, "Do I look better?" That assumption quietly ruins the moment because she already knows something has changed. She can feel it. She wouldn't bring it up if she didn't. What she's actually testing is something far more important. She's testing your attention, not surface attention, not polite attention, real attention. The kind that notices shifts, not just appearances. The kind that tracks patterns over time. The kind that sees effort, not just results. That is the kind of attention associated with a high-value man. Not because it's flashy, because it's rare. Understand this clearly. She is not fishing for praise. She's checking whether you're present enough to notice her growth without being told. That is the test. And it matters more than most men realize. When she asks if you've noticed something different, she's asking one quiet question underneath it all. Do you see me? Not, do you like what you see? There's a difference. One is validation. The other is connection. Women who are emotionally grounded don't chase validation. They look for connection. That is basic attraction psychology, even if it doesn't get talked about much. So don't answer casually. Don't default to something generic. You look great is easy. It's safe. It's also forgettable. Generic answers signal generic attention, and generic attention does not attract women at a deeper level. If you respond without specificity, the question dies. The moment collapses, not dramatically, quietly. She nods. She moves on. But something closes, because you didn't fail a test you knew you were taking. You failed a test she hoped you would pass. Here's the part most men never realize. She wouldn't have asked unless she wanted you to succeed. She didn't set this up to trap you. She set it up because she's already leaning in. She's hoping you'll confirm something she suspects, that you're paying attention in a way that goes beyond convenience. That is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks in dating. Women don't test men to reject them. They test men they already feel something for. The test isn't hostile, it's hopeful. So be precise, be calm, be grounded. Precision communicates presence. Presence communicates care. Care is what allows masculine energy to land without force or performance. If you notice she's been calmer lately, say that. If she's more focused, say that. If she seems more confident in her routines, mention it. If her energy feels steadier, reflect that back. These are not compliments, they are observations. Observations feel intimate because they prove you're watching without trying to score points. That's what separates a high-value man from someone who is just reacting. One sees, the other responds. And here's why this works so powerfully. Attention is a form of investment. When you notice changes, you signal that she occupies space in your mind, even when she's not performing for you. That is deeply attractive. That is how you attract women without chasing them. Many men think attraction is created through intensity. It's not. It's created through attunement, through noticing patterns, through consistency, through calm certainty. Be careful not to overdo it. Don't analyze her like a project. Don't interrogate her progress. That turns attention into pressure. Pressure kills attraction. Observation, when delivered lightly, builds it. So keep your tone natural. Curious, not evaluative. Present, not impressed. That balance allows masculine energy to feel steady instead of performative. And don't miss this. The reason this question matters even more for men over 35 is because women at this stage are less interested in being admired and more interested in being understood. They've already lived long enough to know the difference. Compliments fade, being seen lasts. If you want to attract women who are emotionally mature, you must meet them with emotional awareness. That doesn't mean becoming someone you're not. It means sharpening what you already have. Notice effort. Notice consistency. Notice internal shifts. That is what signals depth. And when you do respond well, something subtle happens. She relaxes. Not because she got approval, because she got confirmation. Confirmation that you are someone who notices what matters. Someone who is present without hovering. Someone whose attention feels intentional. That's why this moment isn't small. It's a doorway. Step through it correctly, and the connection deepens naturally. Miss it, and nothing explodes. But nothing grows either. Don't confuse loud attraction with lasting attraction. One burns fast, the other builds quietly. Men who rely only on surface charm attract attention. Men who cultivate awareness attract trust. Trust is what allows attraction to evolve. So remember this. When she asks if you've noticed something different, she's not asking for a verdict. She's asking for recognition. Recognition is relational. It says, I see your effort. I see your direction. I see you becoming. That's why this moment aligns so strongly with the identity of a high-value man. Not because he knows clever lines, because he's grounded enough to notice change without being prompted. Be that man. Pay attention without announcing it. Speak precisely without exaggeration. Respond thoughtfully without trying to win. That is how you attract women consistently. That is how masculine energy expresses itself with ease. And that is how small questions turn into meaningful moments that quietly pull two people closer together. If this opened your eyes to how subtle attraction really works, don't just watch and move on. Take a second and lock it in. Like the video, subscribe for more real-world attraction psychology facts and psychology tricks, and share this with a man who needs to understand what women are really asking. Then, drop this in the comments to anchor the lesson and show you get it. Attention to her effort creates attraction. 3. What you think about when you can't sleep. When a woman looks at you late at night and asks what you think about when you can't sleep, understand this clearly. This is not a casual question. It is not idle curiosity. It is not small talk drifting in the dark. It is a test of depth, a quiet signal, a deliberate reach toward the part of you that only exists when the world goes silent and your guard comes down. Because insomnia is where truth lives, and she knows it. When she asks this, she is not asking about deadlines, errands, or surface-level stress. She is asking who you are when no one is watching. What weighs on you when the noise fades? What dreams, regrets, ambitions, and unanswered questions occupy your iron mind? She asks because she herself has been lying awake thinking about you, and she wants to know if that invisible bridge already goes both ways. Most men miss this moment entirely. They laugh it off. They give a practical answer. They hide behind humor or routine concerns. In doing so, they signal distance, not mystery, safety without connection, control without presence. But the man who understands attraction psychology facts knows this question is an opening, a door cracked just wide enough to step through if you have the composure to do it right. This is where old Stoic wisdom applies. The Stoics taught that mastery begins with knowing your inner world, not decorating it, not apologizing for it, standing firmly inside it. When you answer her, you are not performing. You are leading, calmly, decisively, with truth that has weight. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." She is asking to see that quality firsthand. The right response does not overshare, and it does not retreat. It reveals direction, purpose, emotional self-command. It shows that when sleep won't come, you think about building, about becoming, about resolving what matters and releasing what doesn't, about lessons learned and standards upheld, about the life you are deliberately shaping. In modern life, men are surrounded by noise, pressure, and distraction. Very few ever slow down enough to face themselves. She is listening for proof that you do. Proof that when the room is dark, you are not lost. You are centered. Night confidence is different from daytime confidence, and women feel that difference instantly. This is not about poetic language. It is about emotional gravity. Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." Awakening is attractive, especially to a woman deciding whether you are safe to open up to. Psychology tricks do not work here. Presence does, clarity does. When you speak from that place, you create something rare, a shared inner space. That space pulls her closer without force. Attraction grows where understanding meets strength. For men between 35 and 70, this moment matters even more. Life has tested you. You've seen wins and losses. You've carried responsibility. You've learned that real power is quiet and intentional. When you answer her with calm honesty, you demonstrate Stoicism win in real time, not theory, practice. Stoicism is not about suppressing feeling. It is about choosing meaning. She is drawn to that choice. You might say that at night you think about the life you are building, the people you protect, the standards you refuse to lower, the peace you are committed to earning. Say it without apology. Authority is steady, not loud. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom of mind is unmistakable when a man speaks. In a world obsessed with speed and validation, slowing down sets you apart. It shows you are not reactive, not scattered, grounded. Short sentences matter here. They land harder, they stay longer. She is asking about your inner life. She is testing emotional access. She is opening a door. Step through with clarity and the dynamic changes. Connection is built in quiet exchanges, not grand gestures. This is where old Stoic wisdom meets modern psychology. People trust those who trust themselves. When you answer her, you show self-trust. Your iron mind is not chaotic at night. It is reflective, purposeful, alive. That makes her feel safe, curious, and drawn in. Do not rush. Do not over-explain. Do not hide. Speak slowly. Let silence work for you. Silence communicates strength when it is owned. She is not just hearing your words. She is feeling your certainty. This is how attraction grows without chasing. This is how intimacy begins without pressure. This is Stoicism win in real relationships. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be and then do what you have to do. In this moment, you are a man who knows himself, and she can feel it. 4. If a song has ever made you think of someone. If a song has ever made you think of someone and she asks you that question while the music drifts softly through the car or fills the silence between two sentences, you need to understand something important right away. This is not a random thought, and it is not idle conversation. Don't dismiss it. Don't laugh it off. Don't answer too quickly just to keep things light. Be present. Be aware. Because what sounds like a gentle, almost harmless question is actually layered with meaning, curiosity, and quiet intention. She is not asking about the song itself. She is not trying to learn your playlist habits. She is asking about you, about how you feel, about how deeply you experience moments, about whether emotion stays with you or passes through without leaving a trace. This is female psychology in its most natural form, not calculated, not manipulative, simply observant. When she asks if a song has ever made you think of someone, she is exploring whether you attach meaning to experiences, whether memories linger in your inner world, whether sound can unlock emotion for you the way it does for her. That is the real question. Don't reduce it to logic. Don't turn it into trivia. She is testing emotional range, not intelligence. She wants to know if you are the kind of man who feels echoes, who remembers moments not because he is stuck in the past, but because he was present when they happened. That distinction matters. You must understand that attraction often grows in these quiet, reflective exchanges, not in bold declarations. Psychology tricks work best when they don't feel like tricks at all, and this is one of them. When you answer, she listens not just to your words, but to your tone, your pace, your comfort with vulnerability. If you say yes and describe the feeling without naming a person, you communicate emotional maturity. That is powerful. That says you can feel without oversharing. You can remember without clinging. You can acknowledge emotion without being ruled by it. Be that man. Don't name an old relationship. Don't anchor your response in the past. That is not what she is looking for. She is listening for whether there is room in your emotional world, whether new moments can live there, whether she could one day be the memory attached to a song. This is how to fall in love without pressure, without chasing, without forcing anything into existence. It starts with resonance, with recognition, with the quiet realization that two people experience meaning in a similar way. Female psychology is deeply attuned to emotional safety, to depth, to presence. When you explain that some songs hold moments the way certain places do, that music can bring back a feeling even when time has moved on, you show awareness. You show sensitivity without fragility. That balance matters more than most men realize. Don't underestimate how much weight she gives to this answer. She may nod, she may smile, she may simply say, "Yeah, I get that." But internally, something shifts. She learns that you are capable of connection, that you don't shut down when emotion appears, that you allow yourself to feel without being overwhelmed. That is attractive. That is reassuring. That is memorable. Psychology tricks often revolve around signaling, and what you are signaling here is emotional availability without neediness. Be calm. Be grounded. Let your words flow naturally. Short sentences help. Clear thoughts help. Say that music captures moments. Say that certain sounds carry feelings. Say that some songs feel like bookmarks in time. That is enough. You don't need drama. You don't need confession. You need clarity. This is not about impressing her. It is about showing her who you are. And if you do it right, she will feel seen too, because she asked the question for a reason. Often, she already knows her own answer. She already has songs that carry memories. She wants to know if you speak the same emotional language. This is one of those psychology tricks that quietly builds connection because it invites reflection instead of performance. Use it wisely. Don't rush past it. Be thoughtful. Be honest. Let the moment land. This is how to fall in love in the real world, through shared meaning, through emotional recognition, through moments that feel small but linger long after they pass. And understand this clearly. When she asks that question, she is not listening to the song anymore. She is listening to you. If this moment made you see things differently, don't scroll past it. Like the video, subscribe for more attraction psychology facts and psychology tricks that actually work, and share this with someone who needs to understand female psychology on a deeper level. Now engage with the channel and lock this insight in by commenting this sentence below. Real attraction begins when emotion has room to be remembered. 5. How you handle disappointment. When she asks how you handle disappointment, don't miss what is really happening. Be alert. Be grounded. Because this question is never just about a missed call, a friend who flaked, or a coworker who didn't follow through. It sounds casual, it sounds reflective. Her voice is calm, almost neutral, but beneath that calm is something serious. That is not a question about conflict resolution. That is a question about emotional safety. She is not testing your patience. She is testing your capacity. When you describe a frustrating situation and she gently asks how you deal with it when people let you down, she is already projecting herself into that picture. She is imagining a future where she matters enough to disappoint you. That matters. Don't brush past that. Be thoughtful. She is not planning to hurt you. That is not the point. She is running future scenarios because she is imagining a relationship where the stakes are real, where her actions would carry weight, where your reaction would matter to her. That is female psychology at work. Quiet, forward-looking, emotionally strategic without being manipulative. She wants to know whether disappointment makes you shut down or step forward. That is the core of it. Most men answer this question in a detached way. They talk about cutting people off. They talk about lowering expectations. They talk about not caring. Don't do that. That answer sounds controlled, but it signals emotional distance. It suggests that when things get uncomfortable, you disappear. That may feel safe to you, but to her, it feels cold. She is not listening for toughness. She is listening for steadiness. She wants to know if you allow people to be human. That doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. Be clear on that. It means you don't collapse or withdraw when someone falls short. You stay present. You communicate. You hold space. That is what makes a high-value man attractive over time. Not perfection, presence, not control, consistency. When she asks this question, she is measuring how safe it would be to actually need you. That is a serious metric. Emotional safety is not built through charm alone. It is built through reactions, through how you respond when things don't go your way, through whether disappointment turns you silent or turns you honest. You must understand this. How you handle disappointment tells her how you will handle intimacy. If your answer suggests that you vanish, she learns that closeness comes with risk. If your answer shows that you can speak, listen, and stay grounded, she feels relief. That relief is attraction. This is how masculine energy shows up in real life. Calm under pressure, clear without being harsh, steady without being distant. Be careful not to overcorrect. Don't present yourself as endlessly patient or endlessly forgiving. That doesn't feel real. Be balanced. Say that disappointment happens. Say that you acknowledge it. Say that you talk about it. Say that you prefer clarity over resentment. That is strength. That is self-respect. That is how you attract women who are emotionally mature. You don't punish people for being imperfect. You also don't ignore your own standards. You communicate them. That balance signals leadership in emotional space, not control. And that is deeply attractive. This is where many men misunderstand attraction psychology facts. They think attraction comes from appearing unbothered. It doesn't. It comes from appearing stable. There is a difference. When you say you address disappointment by communicating, by understanding context, by expressing how something made you feel without exploding or withdrawing, you show emotional intelligence. That matters more than bravado. That matters more than clever lines. She is not looking for a man who never feels disappointed. She is looking for a man who doesn't lose himself when he does. That is what a high-value man embodies. He stays centered. He stays respectful. He stays honest. Don't rush your answer. Don't intellectualize it. Speak plainly. Short sentences help. Clear statements help. Say that you believe people make mistakes. Say that you value conversations over assumptions. Say that you don't hold grudges, but you do address issues. That tells her that conflict doesn't scare you. That tells her that closeness won't cost her her voice. Female psychology is deeply sensitive to emotional consequences. She wants to know if expressing need will push you away or bring you closer. Your answer gives her that information. Understand the weight of this moment. She may nod. She may say nothing at all. But internally, she is deciding whether she could trust you with her imperfections. Attraction deepens when a woman feels she can be real without being punished. This is not about being soft. This is about being solid. Masculine energy is not loud. It is reliable. It is calm in moments where others become reactive. When you demonstrate that disappointment leads to dialogue, not distance, you position yourself as someone she could build with. That is how to attract women who are serious, thoughtful, and emotionally invested. You must also recognize that this question often appears only when interest already exists. She doesn't ask everyone this. She asks it when she cares about the answer. She asks it when she is imagining something more. That is why this is one of those psychology tricks that isn't a trick at all. It is a doorway. How you walk through it determines what comes next. Be intentional, be steady, be real. A high-value man doesn't pretend he is unaffected. He chooses how he responds. He understands that disappointment is part of connection, not a reason to avoid it. He doesn't disappear. He doesn't attack. He communicates. That is leadership. That is attraction. That is masculine energy expressed with maturity. And that is exactly what she is listening for, even if she never says it out loud. 6. What your apartment smells like. Here's the truth you need to understand, and I'm going to say it plainly, calmly, and with certainty because men who win in life don't need fluff, they need clarity. When a woman asks what your apartment smells like, she is not asking about candles, coffee, or detergent. She is not filling silence. She is not bored. She is doing something far more revealing. She is already placing herself inside your world. Smell is the most powerful trigger of memory and emotion the human brain possesses. Neuroscience confirms it, and history has always known it. Marcel Proust famously wrote, "Smell and taste are the sense of memory." And modern psychology backs that up completely. When she asks about scent, she is building a private, emotional simulation of being near you, of waking up near you, of existing in your space without ever having stepped inside it. This is not fantasy. This is attraction operating quietly and efficiently. She is testing whether your world feels safe, grounded, familiar, and worth entering. Men who understand old Stoic wisdom don't panic at this moment. They don't oversell, they don't perform, they stay steady. Calm voice, simple truth, iron mind, because attraction grows where certainty lives. Think about modern life. Everything is rushed, digital, loud, artificial. People are starving for grounded experiences, for spaces that feel real, for men who are rooted. When she asks about your apartment's smell, she's asking whether your life feels chaotic or composed, whether your presence feels like pressure or peace, whether being close to you would feel natural or draining. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved." That is exactly what this moment calls for. You don't explain. You don't justify. You describe simply and confidently. You let her imagination do the work. Candles, coffee, clean sheets, wood, sunlight, air, ordinary words. Powerful effect, because she is already leaning in, already curious, already opening a door in her mind. And here's where most men fail. They start overthinking. They start joking nervously. They start asking what she means. They dilute the moment. Don't do that. Stoicism, win moments are quiet moments, controlled moments, moments where you don't interrupt the natural flow of attraction by trying to control it. You let it happen. You allow it. You stand firm. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Be the man whose life feels solid, then speak from that place. Smell is intimacy without touch. It's closeness without risk. She's exploring the idea of you without exposing herself. That's intelligent. Respect it. Respond like a man who understands human nature. Short answer, grounded tone, no theatrics. This signals experience. This signals stability. This signals iron mind. And let's be clear, this isn't about tricks or manipulation. This is about awareness. Men who master life notice patterns. They see meaning beneath words. They don't need reassurance. They don't chase validation. They understand that attraction often reveals itself indirectly because direct exposure feels too vulnerable early on. Modern dating is full of noise, mixed signals, and endless analysis. This question cuts through all of that. It's simple, it's personal, it's sensory, it's emotional, and it's deliberate. When you recognize it for what it is, you stop guessing and start leading, not by force, by presence. There's a reason old Stoic wisdom still resonates today. It teaches composure over reaction, observation over impulse, strength through calm. This is one of those moments. A quiet test, not of your words, but of your inner state. Do you fidget, or do you remain steady? Do you perform, or do you simply exist confidently? The man who wins understands that attraction deepens in the absence of pressure. He answers, he pauses, he lets silence breathe. He lets her imagination finish the story. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom here means freedom from overthinking, freedom from trying to impress, freedom from needing an outcome. And paradoxically, that freedom is what draws people closer. If you want advice you can actually use, here it is. Clean your space. Live intentionally. Choose simplicity. Let your environment reflect clarity, not chaos. Not for her, for you. Because when your life is in order, attraction becomes effortless. When your mind is sharp, your presence feels safe. When you operate from iron mind, your words carry weight without force. And when a woman asks a question like this, you don't need to wonder why. You already know. She's imagining. She's exploring. She's leaning forward. Your job isn't to push. Your job is to stand firm. This is how Stoicism win moments happen in modern life. Quietly, naturally, powerfully. If you caught this, you're not guessing anymore. You're reading the signs. Most people miss moments like this and stay clueless. You didn't. You recognized attraction before it was spoken. That awareness changes everything. Comment this to lock it in. I recognize attraction when it's felt, not said. 7. If you rehearse conversations. Here's the truth most men miss when a woman asks this kind of question. You need to hear it clearly, without fluff, without hesitation. Because this is not casual conversation, and it is not small talk. It is emotional reconnaissance. When she asks whether you rehearse conversations before having them, she is not asking about your habits. She is asking about your heart. And that matters. This question comes from a place where thoughts linger longer than they should, where moments replay quietly at night, where words are tested in advance, not to manipulate, but to protect something that already feels valuable. So don't brush it off. Don't laugh it away. Don't answer like it's a quirky personality trait. Be present, be honest, be grounded. Because what she's really revealing is that she has already invested mental energy in you. Psychology tricks tell us something important here. People don't rehearse conversations for people they don't care about. They rehearse for people whose reactions matter, whose approval feels meaningful, whose presence carries weight. That is female psychology at work. Subtle, careful, emotionally intelligent. When she asks if you do the same, she's checking alignment. She's wondering if you also pause before speaking to her, if you consider tone and timing, if you imagine how your words will land in her chest, not just her ears. Because when two people rehearse for each other, the connection has crossed from casual to intentional. You must understand this clearly. This is a confession disguised as curiosity. That is not an accident. It is how emotional safety is tested, gently, intelligently, without pressure. If you respond with sincerity, something shifts. If you say yes, if you say sometimes, if you say you think about how to say things because you don't want to get it wrong, you are doing more than answering a question. You are telling her she's not alone in caring. That is how to fall in love without announcing it out loud. That is how bonds deepen without drama. She has likely replayed conversations with you already, wondered if she said too much or too little, wondered how you interpreted a pause or a smile. When you admit that you rehearse too, you validate her inner world. You tell her that her attention isn't one-sided. Psychology tricks show that reassurance at this stage doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from shared vulnerability, from realizing both people are thinking ahead, both people are careful, both people are emotionally awake. And don't miss this part, because it matters deeply. She is also testing emotional compatibility. She wants to know if you reflect, if you process internally, if you take communication seriously. For her, rehearsing isn't anxiety. It's care. It's respect. It's emotional preparation. Dismiss it and she may feel unseen. Meet her there and she feels understood. And understanding is where attraction turns into attachment. That is female psychology in its most human form. Not games, not manipulation, just the desire to be met at the same depth. So be calm, be thoughtful, be intentional, don't over-explain, don't perform, don't turn it into a joke unless warmth is already established. Short, honest sentences land harder than clever ones here. Say what's real, say what feels true. Because when she hears that you too have paced a room thinking about how to phrase something, or paused before sending a message, or replayed a conversation wondering if you expressed yourself clearly, something settles inside her. She feels chosen without being claimed, and that is powerful. That is how to fall in love slowly, safely, without force. Remember this. Attraction often grows in silence before it ever speaks. This question is one of the rare moments when silence asks for permission to become something more. So don't rush it. Don't overanalyze it, but don't underestimate it either. Men who understand psychology tricks know that emotional curiosity is rarely random. Men who understand female psychology know that when a woman reveals her inner habits, she is inviting you into her private space. You must treat that invitation with care, because how to fall in love is not about impressing, it's about resonating. And resonance happens when two people realize they've been quietly doing the same things for each other all along. 8. What you were going to say, but didn't. When a woman asks, "What were you going to say, but didn't?" That is not a casual question. Don't treat it like one. You paused, you held back, and she noticed. That alone tells you something. She's paying attention. She caught the space between your thought and your restraint, and she's curious about what lives there. Most men shut this down by saying it was nothing. Don't. Be calm. Be honest. Because what she's really asking for is the unfiltered version of you. Not everything. Just something real. This is how attraction psychology facts show up quietly. She's testing emotional safety. She's checking if you trust her enough to speak without hiding. A high-value man doesn't panic here and doesn't perform. He answers simply, grounded, with masculine energy that feels steady, not forced. That is how men attract women without chasing. Not by saying more, but by saying what matters. If this moment sounded familiar, don't ignore it. This is where attraction quietly reveals itself. If you want to understand the psychology tricks behind why these small questions matter, hit like, subscribe for more attraction psychology facts, and share this with a man who needs to hear it. Now take a second and comment this below to lock it in and interact with the channel. The words I almost said mattered more than I realized. 9. The version of you others don't see. When she asks if there's a version of you most people don't see, recognize the moment. This is not curiosity, it's an opening. She's asking whether your calm is real or rehearsed, whether your strength has depth or just polish. Most men deflect. They joke. They generalize. They perform insight instead of offering truth. That's a miss. The right response is simple, grounded, and precise. You name something real you don't broadcast. Not a confession, not a story, a fact, said calmly, with no need for approval. That restraint signals an iron mind. That clarity reflects Old Stoic wisdom. Because strength isn't loud, it's measured. It doesn't chase access, it grants it. In a world obsessed with performance, the man who speaks plainly about his inner life without collapsing stands out. He's not trying to be seen. He already knows who he is. That's why the moment lands. That's why it's remembered. Stoicism win here isn't distance. It's command, emotional control, self-knowledge, presence. When you answer this way, you don't just deepen attraction, you set the frame, calm, solid, intentional. This is Old Stoic wisdom in motion. This is Stoicism win. This is the iron mind at work. Hey, thanks for sticking with me till the end. Here's the thing. Recognizing these questions doesn't mean you need to overthink every word she says or turn every conversation into a test. It simply means you're learning to notice when someone has started seeing you differently. When a woman asks questions like this, she's often gently checking whether you're willing to meet her at that deeper level. And remember, Questions like these don't stay casual forever. They either grow into something real or they slowly disappear. So the key advice here is this: pay attention, but stay calm and authentic. Don't rush, don't pressure, and don't play games. If there's interest, it will naturally show, both in her words and in her actions. Once you start listening to what's underneath her questions, you'll notice even more when she's close to you physically. How she hugs you, how long she stays there, where her hands rest. Those signals often speak louder than words ever could. If you want to understand those signs clearly and avoid misreading them, make sure you watch the next video. I break down exactly what different kinds of hugs really mean and what she may be communicating when her body closes the distance her words haven't yet. See you in the next one.